Hi. Um, so today I am talking about something that I'm currently working on, and that is yantra. Um, yeah, the same yantra from Tantra Mantra and yantra. So before even when we talk about yantras, we have to talk about sacred geometry. The sacred geometry is something I'm sure you must have come across through something or the other. They were basically ancient symbols which were found in various ancient cultures and religion, right? And no matter what, you do find references of these, and they mostly talk about how the universe speaks to us through these symbols. And with time, I don't know, we had kind of forgotten them, or very few people were talking about them. But it was quite recent. In fact, as much as I have researched, I understood that in between we had kind of forgotten this language of the universe, and it's very recent that it has come up again since 2012, and then now it has come into the mainstream, and we do see them becoming very casually used these days, which again takes me to the another point, and that is that without even understanding them, we are using them very casually. So it's very important and to understand them. And so what happened was that I was called to I was just attracted to looking at these symbols. And I am an profession architect by profession, so for me geometry was something which was not new. And when I started, I think it's been 20 plus years and that I've been working with geometry. And I had since a long time known that in nature you do there is geometry does exist, and there is golden proportion, and there are the ways that the universe speaks to and it was just an moment of awe, but nothing more than that. But it's very recent that I've started looking at the sacredness of it. When I say sacredness, it actually made me it gave me that awe moment that the universe does talk to us through these patterns, through geometrical patterns, through numbers, through sounds, and through colors, and something which we just not conscious about. And the moment I started opening up to all of these, I started getting signs, and I started understanding that the universe does talk to you through all of these. So yeah, we'll talk about that later. But what I'm more interested in talking about right now is that how did I landed to yantra from all of this. So when I started researching and the geometrical patterns in the various cultures, one pattern which was reoccurring in all of the cultures were this, which is called by different names, but mostly known as flower of life. And from this, lot of formations, lot of geometrical patterns and originated, and they all have very deeper meaning. But today we will not talk about all of them. I'll just talk about few of my favorite and what led me to working with the yantras. So the another formation from there I reached to this is one of my favorite, and that is the Merkaba, because I work with a Merkaba meditation also. So this is something which I had drawn long back, and I even have a crystal which is rose quartz crystal in the form of Merkaba. And basically why I spoke about Merkaba was that because it was talking about these two triangles, basically that two tetratrons, and one being on the upside and the other one being on the downside. And this led me to I think I was just drawing parallels with different cultures. And while I was doing that, I also started looking at Indian culture, because I belong to India, that what was the reference of geometries in our culture. So it was very interesting that I found out that the Indians were also using the geometrical pattern. It's just that we have kind of disconnected from those, and we became more, uh, we started looking at the gods in form of statues and paintings and pictures, and in forms of human beings, because we could relate to them. This is all we'll talk about in detail, but what I want to talk about is that from there I figured out that in India we talk about Sri Yantra, right? And the Sri Yantra has a very important place in Indian culture, and all of these, these have all originated from the same geometrical patterns. And so that was, we would be talking about each one of them in detail, and right now I'm just talking about them in very generic. And when you find out, when you actually look at these patterns, you'll see that all of them has similarities, even being called differently, being depicted differently. They all have something which is very common. So this is what led me to yantras. Now, coming back to yantras, what are yantras? So if we look at yantras from our point of view, they were made up of two words, and they were called ya and tra. Yan and tra. So yan was basically something which contains, right? And tra was something which would liberate you from bondage. And I have always found one thing very interesting about Sanatan Dharma. I can speak more about Sanatan Dharma because I am a practicing Hindu, so probably I understand it through that. But I know that similar references are for each and every religion and culture, because they all talk about, at the core level, they talk about the same thing. So the reason we had culture, we had religion, we had something which will bind us or connect us to the universe, was to liberate ourselves, right? So anything which will not liberate you or will keep you in a bondage was part of the Maya, right? We will be talking about that also more. But coming back to yantras, what yantras were supposed to do and why we have so many yantras. So that was a question that was in my head, and I was trying to understand that why do you need to make 300, 600, and I don't know, that it's infinite number of yantras. So that led me to understanding of why Indian culture have 33 crores of Devi Devtas and deities. So while I was doing that, one interesting thing I figured out, and I think I call it, I call them as minerals and vitamins. So just like you need your mineral and vitamin, these deities, these gods were nothing else but source of energies and different source of energies. So if we understand universe in terms of energy, we would understand that this energy is also of different kinds, right? So as we talk about Shiv Tattva, we talk about Vishnu Tattva, we understand that they all are energy forms, but they have different energy forms. And as you need a particular energy, it'll come in your life, right? So I know it's too much to understand, but yeah, we'll break it into something in further videos. I'll do that, and we'll understand it in proper way, that why and how these yantras were, and why we needed so many different kinds of yantras, and what do these yantras actually mean, and they do. So this was just a basic introduction and about geometry and how universe and speaks to us through geometries and sound we'll cover later. So yeah, thank you so much.